So it seemed as if our this is not working on. What we followed before. We saw that this and this, yeah, tiger life, this is tiger life. What happened here? It means there's something remaining. We're going to go back again to look at what's really happening. So now relax. Do you see that when we come to this place, the first day, I want to let you know, once after these two signs, after the sign of equality, what we record here is no more tiger or goat. What we record is signs. That's what we call it, what? Signs. We're talking about signs. The sign that someone received. For instance, you were looking for a friend. You came to a friend's house and you were told that the friend was not around. That he was in that uncompleted building somewhere there. And you quickly rushed to the uncompleted building. Before you knew it, you have gone deep into that uncompleted building, only to realize that the person was not there. And by the time you realize you have gone so deep, suddenly you became so apprehensive. You start calling the person's name. John, what is happening? You start receiving some signs. What kind of sign is that? Negative sign. That is fear. You are becoming highly apprehensive because you thought someone was there. Only to you have gone deep, hoping you want to meet your friend, only to discover that when you got there, the place was so quiet. And you have gone so deep. To come back now, you have to cover a distance. There are going to be sign. So that sign is either negative sign or positive sign. And you know that it's going to be negative because anything that causes fear is what? Negative. So the sign the person received. While someone are tormented, when you have gone so deep like that, the fear comes upon you. And then you start, John, you start retrieving. You're walking backward. Before you know it, you will run fast. Why? Because there's this sensation, there's this fear that came upon you. That is the sign we're talking about. So after the sign of equality here, when the man came the next morning, having put in tiger, and the next morning put goat, and the next morning, why he came? Have you been at the gate where you have a station dog? Some of these bad dogs. Yes. If you touch the gate, you understand. The barking of the dog, you will fidget. So that was what happened. When the man came the next morning, as man made attempt of opening the door, the tiger roared before the man. And the man shocked. I quickly shut the door. The question now is, what sign did man receive? Is it positive sign or negative sign? That is what we record. Are you following? So that's why we record the sign. The man received the resultant effect of carrying out this experiment of putting tiger and putting goat. The next morning, the resultant effect is negative. So it's the negativity that appears here. That's what you see here. Here, after the sign of God, it's no more talking about tiger or goat. It's talking about the resultant effect. And so, let's look at this. So the next morning, the next day, the man said, okay, let me put in goat and put in tiger the second time. And the same thing happened. As the man touched the door to open, there was a roaring, a rush. And the man quickly shut the place. And so the man received what? A negative sign. Let's go. So on the third day, I hope you're enjoying it. I know you're enjoying this. That's a wonderful story. That's how I begin with your child. And with this, if your child follows, I want to assure you, his brain will not remain the same. I will configure the brain, the memory. So, now let's go ahead. Look at this. Now, on the third day, the man put in tiger and picked another string tiger into the same place. And there was war. War. Fight, rush, try to hustle for food. Two string tigers. In fact, there was serious fight that first day because it was the first night. They cannot be friends. So they could not eat each other. Have you ever thought of fighting? Have you ever, when you were in school those days, remember when you were in school those days, someone will offend you, and for they'll get a time you say, no, I must fight. And people will separately say, no, no going back in this fight. You call it vindictive mode. When you're in this vindictive mode, nobody tells you anything you will not hear. You want to fight because the person has provoked you so hard. And eventually they left both of you to fight. And he fought and fought and fought and fought. Everybody was just watching you. In fact, it came to a time that you were now looking for someone to separate you. Have it happened to you before? You'll be looking for someone to separate you. Nobody to separate both of you. Nobody cares. And that was what happened between these two tigers. They fought and fought and fought. Nothing. Now the hunger increased. The strength, they are fighting for food, but the strength, yet the hunger increased. They could not get the food. The strength they have, they exhausted it before the next morning. That both of them fought and fought. They were unable to fight. There's a way you will be left with your colleague fighting. You discover that you tire, you will be touching him in the face. That is, you have no more strength to fight again. That was what happened to the two tigers. So that both of them were down, weak. The next morning, that when the man came and touched the door at all to open, they were no strength to rush at the man as it were before. The man was able to open little and shut the place. Nothing troubles the man's heart. So the man discovered, this is positive. The man's heart was not troubled. So he recorded what? Positive sign. That's why you could see this story. Positive. Are you following? That's why this place is positive. And so, on the other day, but let me ask you a question. When you have seen this minus, and you bring it another minus inside, what do you think? Which sign do you think you get? So these two have fought themselves and became so weak, and you just introduced a fresh tiger into that place. Will you go there? If you go there, you receive a negative sign. That is one good thing that will happen there. And so, let's look at the last place, the last stage. So this last stage, we're looking at which is this? Goats. And another goats. So if you put two goats inside a place, would you be scared of going inside? No. What about if we have up to 3? Good. Even up to 4, 5, or 10. Do you think it will cause fear? No. So there's no amount of plus put together that will cause it to change. So that is why when you see this goat and this goat, the man entered the next morning, he had what? Positive. There was no trouble. So that is what we have. This is what we have used to describe, to explain this very well, so that it will stick to your blood. You don't need to put them in the brain. A lot of things, too many things have been there. So this we explain this. We are done with this now. Let's go over to a question, for instance. When do we use these? Because these are some of the challenges. You see, my teacher told me that minus and plus is equals to minus. That is what they've just heard about it. They don't know how it works. But let me show you something. We have something like this, question like this. Let's go up to this and see minus 5 plus minus 6 minus 7 plus minus 8 plus 12 and so on and so forth. So when you have a question like this, this is just the issue. So we want to ask ourselves, you have minus 5 plus minus 6 minus 7 minus plus minus 8 plus 12. So this is the only area. So when you see a question like this, for instance, the only place you're going to apply TG, you have to check whether you are going to apply TG or not. This is algebra. TG. It's talking about tiger and gold. Is there any place where am I going to apply it here? Yes. When do you know? When do you apply it? In which state, in which condition? What is this something that is visible that you are seeing that will make you, that orchestrates you using this very sign, this TG. Now, let me show you something. In this place, you could see it is only used to settle case, to settle quarrel. TG is used to settle disputes. What do you mean, sir, when we say to settle disputes? Now, let's look at it. If you come to this place, there's one sign here. But here, I'm supposed to have plus. Or I'm supposed to have only minus. But two of them were dragging position. So, automatically it's quarrel.